Welcome to my animation channel. Thanks very much for joining me again. In this video we're going to look at the multiplane camera that OpenToonz has. I've posted a video like this before, but this one is slightly different and it's in my Animating with OpenToonz course. So let's dive in right now. So in this video we're going to have a look at how we create depth in these scenes that we're going to build in this course. And we're going to do that using something called the multiplane camera. So as you can see here, the camera is actually flying through under the bridge here and then over the mountains. So it creates that effect, that illusion of depth. So perhaps it's no surprise that the multiplane camera was developed by Disney, not actually by Disney himself, but by some of his engineers in 1937. And in this educational film that Disney put out in 1957, he explains that the problem with zooming in to create depth is that things in the background, something like the moon here on a moonlit night, also increase in size. Everything increases in size when you zoom, whereas in reality it doesn't, because the moon is so far back that walking 100 feet or so is not going to increase the size. Whereas stuff in the foreground, like these trees and the house and the fields, they'll increase in size as you get to them. So that's the whole concept of the multiplane camera. In reality, things are at different depths, and in animation, Disney worked out it has to be like that too. So he built this multiplane camera, which took this flat piece of artwork like this and split it up into many planes. So you'd have the trees in the front plane on the one plane, and maybe the fields in the other plane. Right at the back, you'd have the moon. And then with your camera set, you could move these planes in and out to also create this illusion of depth. So this was quite a breakthrough for 2D animation back in the day. And you can see that's the actual multiplane camera that they had at the Disney studios. If you zoom into the same scene that's been broken up into many planes, you can see that everything goes past the camera or towards the camera, but the moon remains the same. So we have this in OpenToonz as well. And I'm just going to show a scene here from one of my movies, Paint on Safari. That's the river crossing scene. And to get into the 3D version, it's not actually 3D, but to have a look at the three-dimensional version of this multiplane camera setup, you want to press that button top right there, and there it is there. So you can see all these planes on the same level, and the camera is in there somewhere. If you want to swivel around to view this at any angle, go down to the bottom left there, and that hand there just above the hand, there's a swiveling hand. You can use that. Click that, and then you can navigate your way around this environment, the 3D environment. Those two buttons there are for the top view and the side view. So you can click them and it'll show you the top view or the side view, and we're back to our swivel. So quite a fantastic thing, and this is what we're going to use in our scenes to create depth. So let's go and move some of these around. We've selected our camera column, and with the animate button on and position selected, we are going to go and change the Z axis. You see just to the right of the Z there, there's a 16 FLD, 16 fields. That is the default that it comes set at. And to the left, you can see it's set at 20 FLDs, 20 fields. So let's go and change that. Let's change it to 16 to make it lie flat with all the other planes here. And then we don't see the camera, so let's just go bring it up. Okay, it's selected on, and there's the camera there. You can just see it. If we zoom in here, you see it a bit better. So now everything's on the same plane at 16 fields, 16 FLDs. Now if we want to go and put the camera back, we can go and change the FLD on the Z axis to 32 fields, and it will take it back like that. So the first frame is 16 and the last frame is 32, and then when you go into the viewer, you'll see that the camera tracks back like this. So nothing's moving except for the camera in the Z axis. So in the 3D viewer, you can see it like that. See the camera moving there, and back to the camera view. If we go change the end of this run to 8 fields, then the camera will actually zoom in. You see it there on the 3D view. You see the camera zooming in there. Okay, so that's how this works. There from the side you see it a bit better. So that's how it works. Let's go change some of these background planes. Let's select this one and it's at 16 at the beginning. Let's go to the end and let's make it 0. And play it out, and it actually comes towards you. So if you put it in the 3D viewer, you can see it like that. Another way to move these forwards and backwards is to hold down your control key and with your mouse or your stylus go up and down, and that actually moves these planes forwards and backwards like that. So on this plane, if we just go to the end and make it 32, then you'll see that it goes back like that as it plays out. So let's do that to the sky level there and make it 48, and it goes even further back. So you can see everything's moving out at different speeds away from the camera. And if you put it into the viewer, you see that the camera's coming in, everything else is going backwards. In this example that I created, I also put a stick in there that goes in and out of the scene like a boomerang, and you can see it there. And just to show this more clearly, as it goes through the scene, you can even move it down behind that vehicle there, so it goes behind the vehicle. So there's nothing else changing here except for the depth of the scene. All these planes are changing their distance from the camera, and the camera as well is zooming in and out on the z-axis. That's all that's happening here. No scaling, nothing else. And so that's how we're going to create the depth in these scenes that we're going to be making in this course. So we're going to be tracking the camera in through these scenes, and we're also these backgrounds are going to come towards us like this bridge and these mountains, etc. like that. It's all in this Animating with OpenToonz course. So please check it out. The links are in the description here.